Welcome back, friends. It's great to have you join us for another 5 and 5 FAQ, Master Data Management Edition. As a reminder, in 5 and 5s, we answer 5 of the most common questions we get asked about different enterprise data challenges in just 5 minutes. I'm so pleased today to be joined by one of the most respected data experts at Synity, Alyssa Sliney. Alyssa is a senior delivery partner and the head of our global master data management delivery practice, so she's a perfect woman for today's job. Thanks for joining me today, Alyssa.
Thanks for having me, Kevin.
Well, it's great to have you, and I'm really excited about today's 5 and 5 because it's an area that's growing fast, and we're getting a ton of questions about master data management. And the clock's ticking. You ready to roll?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, terrific. So MDM projects are notoriously challenging. What steps should I take to set up myself out of the gate for a success in an MDM project?
One of the first things I recommend our customers do is figure out where they want to end up. And it's very challenging to do this over the course of the project, but kind of sticking to your guns. What is the ROI you're looking to get out of this? What are the KPIs you really want to measure that are key metrics to telling that success story? And then really staying true to that scope and true to the intentions of the project to make sure that you can tell that end-to-end story when you get to the end. And you can always take on a phase 2, a phase 3. But if we drive quick wins and we drive value in the initial phase, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to take on those additional phases after that.
Begin with the end in mind. I love it.
That's right.
Okay, next question. What are the phases or components of a master data management project?
Sure. So at Synity, we kind of take roughly a 7-phased approach, right? So we start with, typically we start with an assessment. It's not absolutely required. Synity in particular has some what we call DQ Jumpstart programs where we can help you evaluate based on your process area where some of your challenges might be. I also recommend doing kind of an organizational assessment to assess, do you have proper stewardship in place? Do you have the resources and the expertise in place? If not, how do we address some of those gaps before we really head into a full-blown implementation? Obviously, we've got to do design. These days, everyone's really moving towards agile, right? I think it's a great way of quickly incorporating requirements, but you kind of want to know where you want to end before you get started, to my last point, right? So doing an initial design to kind of understand these are the main points we need to hit as we go through build. Obviously, you go through a technical build. Testing is really important. I see some clients, make the mistake of really trying to squeeze that testing phase. That's going to ensure you have success, especially with your end users, if they can't participate as heavily in the design and the build phases. So testing is really, really critical. Obviously, you've got to go through a deployment window and fold in your training, your change management, all of those pieces. And then the last piece is really important. It's the iteration phase. And it's really important that you plan for that iteration as well. How do you continue to improve and invest in the solution? How do you continue to evolve your organization? And how do you allow your business to grow and support them, right? It's not a, point in time where you say, hands up, we're done. You need to continue to evolve as your business evolves.
Right, so having a partner on board that really knows how to help walk through these steps is going to be critical.
Absolutely.
All right, great. So next question. How do I decide where to focus first in an MDM project?
Sure. There's a few different ways to kind of establish where you want to start. So one way to do that is to identify where you've got the most pain or the largest business interruption, and especially what can be driven with a tool, right? So if we're really looking at an IT solution, now you could think about master data management more from a process perspective, so trying to align people around what some of your initiatives are. But here, I think we're really talking more about a tool. You could also look a little bit about at your organizational maturity. Who is ready either because they have enough pain, they are maybe a little bit more simple or complex depending on what KPIs and ROI you want to drive. Who are the people that are ready for that kind of change? So either driving it one of two ways, right? The ROI from a pure business perspective, or who's maturity wise ready in your organization.
Makes sense. Next question. How do I build the business case for or prove the value of an MDM initiative? That's an important one.
Yeah, so if you're going to start with that pain point assessment, that's a great way to kind of come up with what some of your key ROI pieces might be, right? So if your problem is, let's say, inventory waste, right? What are the parameters further up in your either supply chain or your material master that you really need to address? And then what's the ultimate cost of your scrapped inventory, right? So if you've got, if you're writing off $1,000 of scrapped inventory a month, that right there is a perfect business case for why you need to implement MDM. Developing those kind of small scenarios where I can improve this, I can improve that, will help you drive towards the ultimate ROI of your MDM initiative, and then also how to kind of keep the momentum going within the program to continue to advance that.
Excellent. So last question. I'm starting an SAP S4 transformation. How can I incorporate MDM into the overall program when we haven't had it before?
This, I feel, is something where Synity is really strong, but it just in general, right? Migrations generate an enormous amount of knowledge. You're bringing together all of the most critical people throughout your organization that are essential to that S4 transformation. You're establishing what your rule base is, what your business processes will be in that new world. It's a perfect opportunity to take advantage of all of that knowledge, all of that resource attention, and then translate it into keeping the system clean, right? If you're going to go through all of that work to do data cleansing, to do data preparation, to load business ready data, that's the perfect time to also implement MDM to keep it clean. One thing that you might want to plan for as part of that is obviously the resource constraints, to make sure that you have enough people, have enough effort to make both things work. But the opportunity is the perfect time to take advantage of it. And, Synity's platform, the Synity Knowledge Platform, is a great solution to really be able to do both things and utilize all of that knowledge.
Yeah, take that knowledge and reuse it and make sure it helps your business continue to scale. Well, this has been great, Alyssa. Thanks for your time. And this has been 5 and 5 FAQ, Master Data Management Edition. Those were great insights. Thank you.
Thank you.